Hello, good people. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, wherever you are. Let me take this time to welcome you to my show. Here we are again, going to talk about a very, very important issue area that informs development. So today we are going to talk about a concept that might be new to you, integrative nutrition. But before we talk about this, I will invite my guest, who is knowledgeable and an expert in this field. I myself will just moderate it, but she's going to give us more information and expound on it to make us understand how to make informed decision and what to do to ensure that we are a healthy nation. Because as we know, a healthy population is a productive population, and a productive population translates to development. So, without further ado, let me give her time to introduce herself. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Elka, and hello, our viewers. My name is Pauline Mundia. I work at Vision Africa Trust as a project manager with one of the projects. And at Vision Africa Trust, we give farmers information on sustainable agriculture, but I also carry out work on health coaching in terms of integrated nutrition.
Perfect. So, majority of us will ask what integrative nutrition is. I had the same question, what is integrative nutrition? Because most of the times we focus on the physical aspect of nutrition, but really there are other aspects of nutrition that I just got to know recently. And you will ask, how does talking about this nutrition and development link? As you know, my channel is about development. And really, if I asked you, if you are hungry, will you be productive? If you are sick, will you be productive? If you are perturbed, maybe mentally, will you be productive? No, you won't. That is why we need to understand the whole aspect of nutrition, and the way the issue area suggests integrative, it's an integration of various aspects. And so, Pauline, could you kindly take us through what this integrative nutrition is?
Okay, thank you very much, Elka. Integrative nutrition is, I would say, it's basically a new concept that people have thought about of late, seeing that we need more than just the food that we put on our plate. So it's a concept whereby we look at health in terms of wellness, in terms of a holistic way that helps us to see how we can enjoy our life, not just have food and fill our stomachs, but how we can look at other aspects of our lives and make them healthy so that we can thrive and not just survive.
Okay. So we are not only looking at food, yeah? So what are the other aspects that we should look at to ensure that we are healthy?
Okay, if we look at our health nowadays, we realize that a lot of the health issues that we're having are actually not food related. Much as we know, sometimes they are food related, but in many cases, they are not food related. If we look at what we call the lifestyle diseases, these are because of imbalances in our lifestyle. So there are those areas in our lives that we need to look at and take care of them so that if they are balanced, then we can have a holistic life. These are things like the physical activity we do, the relationships we have, things to do with career, as well as our spirituality.
Oh, interesting. So you're going to expand a little bit on each of these aspects. Let's not just look at, we are always saying have a balanced diet, have some proteins, some fruits, some carbs, and then water, and you're good to go. But as it is, that is not everything when it comes to health issues. So you've talked about the first one. Let's talk about spirituality. What about spirituality when it comes to health?
Okay, when we look at spirituality, we are not basically just talking about religion, but we're talking about that inner purpose, understanding what is your inner purpose. Because when you understand what you're here to do in this world, that's what will give you the reason to, to look after yourself, the reason to do what you need to do so that you can contribute to development and contribute to contribute to the world and to the communities.
At all. Okay. Now you mentioned something, religion and spirituality. It is important to distinguish that these two are different. Yeah.
Yes.
When you talk about, people have always confused spirituality and religion. You talk of religion, people will, whatever comes in mind is, you are a Christian, you're a Muslim, you are a Buddhist. And spirituality is something that all of us must have, right?
Yes, it is an individual kind of practice that is really personal.
So it is like more important to say it is better for someone to be spiritual than being religious.
Yes, very
Yeah.
true.
So know your inner purpose, what brought you into this world, and then you have that connection with supernatural being, right?
Yes, yes.
That is what
That is also
spirituality
important
is.
because we all know. I mean, we come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So whoever that being we believe in, there's a being somewhere out there who controls the universe.
The universe. So that is
Yes.
spirituality.
Yes.
And then the next aspect, you had talked about relationships.
Yes.
So what
So
about
if you look at
relationships?
relationships, actually we would say that relationships are very crucial in our well-being, in our wellness, because we are social beings. Humans are social beings. So we always want to relate to people. So when these relationships are not very good, then it causes some stress, which in the long run can lead to what we call the mental disorders, which I know we have seen late in the recent past. There have been a lot of this. So we need to look at our relationships, our social connections. How are we relating to these people? How are we building these relationships? What are we contributing to make these relationships work?
Okay. And when we talk about relationships, I read somewhere a book by Stephen Covey. Yeah, effective leadership. So in that book, he talks about the relationship you create. Are you depositing something, or are you just withdrawing? Yeah. So in these relationships you are establishing, are you at least contributing something to that relationship? Because truth be told, relationships also require commitment.
Yes.
Yeah.
They require work.
Work.
They
Yeah.
require sacrifice.
Exactly.
Which not many people are ready for.
Yeah, people are not ready for that. But you see, when something happens to them, people are fast to brand others as fake.
Yes.
Yeah, you did not come to my help when I needed you, and you say you are my friend. So relationship is another one, is another aspect. So what relationships are you building, and which ones are you investing in? What are you contributing to these relationships? Then there was another aspect. You talked about relationship, and then you also talked about spirituality, and then there was physical activity.
So physical activity is also very important, and I think this is something we take for granted, and it's important because as you control or check what you're eating, it is important to keep moving. So movement is what actually enhances the health that you have. So it's important for us to be physical beings. I think our current lives have made us very sedentary, I would say, especially if you look at this COVID time when we had to sit at home and we could not go anywhere. So that brought a lot of issues. So physical activity in our lives is very important. And it doesn't mean just going to the gym, because it doesn't really mean that you have to go to the gym. You can walk, you can walk around in your house, there are a lot of other things that you can do that serve as physical activity.
Okay. So that's a good one. When you talk about, COVID has made us, we're just eating and doing nothing. After all, we are not getting out of the house, or rather we have places that have been locked that we cannot access at the moment. But anyways, this is good that you are expounding on this and making people like me understand that really physical activity is one of the aspects of health. So, dear viewers, we are taking a short break, but we will be back to continue with the other aspect, as well as discuss how now during the COVID-19, all these aspects that are part of the integrative approach can be we can solve the problems that might arise from not having access to these aspects that we have talked about. So do not leave. It is a short break. We will be back. Bye bye. Like within Gigiri.
No. What they call the blue zones, there are areas.
Well, welcome back. So as we continue with this discussion on integrative nutrition, I hope you are getting to understand something. And now we're going to discuss about the fourth aspect of this integrative nutrition approach, so which is career, right? So just to recap on what we talked about spirituality, physical activity, and the relationships you invest in. So our expert will continue and explain to us how career is another aspect of this integrative approach.
Okay, thank you very much. So career is also very important because we find that the kind of work that we do, whether you're employed or whether you're self-employed, you spend a lot of your time in that career. So if it's something that is not making you happy, then it easily translates into the relationships. So it's very important for you that once you decide, when we talked about spirituality, so once you know your inner purpose, that can help you decide what your career path is going to be. And then once you get into that career path, then it's important for you to ensure that at all times that career is giving you that satisfaction, that
Okay.
you feel you're making an impact, a positive impact on the community and development at large, and also having that satisfaction in yourself. So it's a very important concept to also consider.
Okay. But in the world we live, don't we have people who are just working for money? Like, it's not about satisfaction, because now if you try and look for something that will like satisfy you, you might end up not getting something to do. So basically, it's, some of us are, maybe might be doing what we do for survival.
Yes, I know many of us do that, and sometimes it's inevitable. But you can also learn to like what you learn. Yeah, that's a quote that I heard somebody say: "If you don't get what you like what you have.
Okay.
You can grow to love it, but you can also try as much as possible then to develop whatever you feel is your passion. Because at the end of the day, it's very important that you're fulfilling your passion in life and making a difference in the lives of others."
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, purpose. What is your purpose under the sun? You know, there is that connection you have with that. The way you said, we are all we came from somewhere, yeah. So when you came here, what is your purpose under the sun, and what relationships are you making? Whether you are depositing or you're just withdrawing from this relationship, and also what are the physical activities you do, yeah, and what is your career choice. So in the end of the day, you can write down this in a note. I read somewhere that if you want to know really that you are improving in your life, you write down, and then in the evening you will mark. If it's a physical activity, did I do anything today? Yeah. If it is purpose, did I do something that really connects to what I was meant to do? When it comes to career, what did you contribute? Did you do any business? Yeah. So another question, Pauline, during the COVID-19 pandemic, yeah, well, all these aspects you're talking about have been affected in one way or another.
Yes, we have.
When it comes to career, people have lost jobs. When it comes to physical activities, some of us
Went to zero.
went to zero. We cannot do. Yeah, we are not doing anything. Then when it comes to relationships, we were told to social distance. You cannot go visiting people. You're just at home. Yeah. And then the other aspect was spirituality. Places of worship were closed down, and majority of us maybe depended on whatever our spiritual fathers would tell us. So how can we work on this during this COVID-19 pandemic? And we are living in this era that we have to, like, we'll have to adapt. This thing is not going away anytime soon. So
Yeah, so thank you very much for that. I think this COVID pandemic has taught us a lot, and much as it has come with a lot of negative things, I think it has also helped us grow. And it has some positive effects because it has helped a lot of people actually grow beyond what they could have done. If you look at careers, we find people who actually changed careers completely because you lost your job, but realize maybe there's something else that you can do. You can become an entrepreneur. So the people who have become entrepreneurs, and if you told them to go back to work, they definitely would not go back to work.
yeah.
So there are some very positive things that have come up from this. In terms of relationships, it has been both positive and negative. There are people who have actually rekindled their relationships because they were too busy with their jobs. They never had time to sit and talk. So they have actually rediscovered themselves. Families. So it has its positives. So I think what it calls for us is to be resilient, to be really adaptive and creative, and see how do we cope with it, because we have to cope because we have to live with it.
Okay. And then, on relationships also, when it comes to friends, you know, there are people who separated and they have not seen each other in a while. And basically, if you ask someone, can I come visit or should you come visit, they will tell you COVID. Yeah? So maybe we should say you can call on your friends and check up on them.
Check on them.
Yeah.
Social media, I mean Zoom, their meeting. You can have you can have meetings, even WhatsApp. You can have a group call on WhatsApp with family members maybe who are far away. So there's still ways we can connect even at a distance.
Okay.
And I think we should really take advantage of technology for these connections. Yeah.
And then when it comes to career, you've talked about entrepreneurs. We must find a way of doing things. Yeah, yeah. We have to innovate. You see,
True,
the way
that's
you
the
said
word. Yeah.
COVID has come, it has made people creative. Yeah, so we must innovate, find a way of how we can sustain ourselves. And really, people, it has taught people that we are not going to depend on employment forever. You see, the work from home thingy,
Yeah.
it has also taught employers
Yeah.
that really people can work from home and still deliver, right?
Very true.
And then the other aspect is the physical well-being.
Activity,
Yeah, the physical activity. So tell us, some of us might be working out from home
Yeah.
if you have space. What about those who do not have space to do these activities at home?
You don't really need much space to do. No physical activity that keeps your body, your muscles and your body just healthy and just moving. You don't need so much space. A place where you can do some sit-ups, some squats, things like that. You can even do it on a corridor. I'm sure you didn't miss space to do that. But cleaning is also exercise. I know many may not agree with me, but if you do some good thorough cleaning, because you sweat a lot, and that is still physical activity.
So the essence
Yeah,
is to sweat.
Yeah, the essence is to be active, physically active.
So if I'm exercising and I'm not sweating, that is not an exercise,
No,
no?
it is still exercise as long as it is like it could be for toning your body, because there are also exercises that help in mental health. If you're doing breathing exercises, if you're doing something like yoga or meditation, that is still physical activity, but it's meant for something else, for now improving on the mental, emotional aspects.
And then okay. Then the other aspect of spirituality.
Yeah, so spirituality, I
But
think.
at least we have started going back to
Yeah,
church
we
a
started
little
going
bit,
back to church a
though
bit.
not as it was before.
Yeah, not as much
Yeah.
as before, but we have a lot of online services actually. You go to YouTube, you'll find prayers, there's music, those are all those things that can uplift you. You can read books on spirituality and things like that.
Okay. So, dear viewers, do not lose focus. Do not lose focus on what your purpose is. There is always a way out of this. We might be blaming COVID that we cannot do this and this and this because of COVID, but really, as our expert said, you must find a way of doing it. There is always a way of doing it. So, generally, Pauline, how is this approach like implemented, or how does the integrative nutrition work?
So integrative nutrition basically looks at both health and wellness, and it looks at it from the lens of prevention more than curative. So it's more like, if you look at our current healthcare system, the way it has been built, it's more about curative. It's more about fixing what is broken already. Getting a pill for the headache, a pill for the broken bone or a surgery. But when we talk about integrative nutrition, we're looking at what are the causes of these things? What is the cause of that headache? What is the cause of this disease? How can we prevent it from actually happening in the first place? And this we can do by looking at what we looked at, these other aspects that we've looked at, looking at your relationships, looking at your career, looking at your spirituality. If we're able to take care of these things, then they will help you make those informed decisions on the kind of now food that you put on your plate. And that will actually make you more healthy in the long run.
Okay, so preventive is one of the ways that this is implemented.
Another important thing in integrative nutrition is something we call bio-individuality. And this is something that tells that each of us are unique individuals, both in body, mind, and spirit. No two people are exactly the same. I know we try a lot of things, especially when it comes to food, when it comes to diet. I'm sure everybody has tried one diet or another. Some work and some do not work. And if you find one works for your friend and it doesn't work for you, you beat yourself up. But when we talk about bioindividuality, we are saying that each person is different, and what works for you may not work for me. So I should not beat myself about it, but I should try as much as possible to understand my background, because that is what will, my background, the environment I'm living in, partly genetics, that's what will influence what can work for me.
Okay.
So we look at each person as an individual, go back to the history of the person, and that can help you. What can help this person?
Okay, it's not basically like a wholesome approach. If this is working for Pauline, then I rush to take it because I think it will work for me. Okay, and then another thing.
So these aspects that we considered that are that look at the rest of our lives, the physical, the relationships, the physical activity, we call them primary food. So they're also a food because they are something that nourishes us, because we have to ensure that they're balanced for us to live a productive life. So these aspects of our lives, we call them primary food, and they are what influence what we actually put now, the food we put on our plate. Because we know many times when we're emotionally unstable, what do we go for? The junk food that is not healthy for us, isn't it? If you are stressed, we always. So if we can be able to look after these other aspects of our lives, then it will make us those informed choices to be able to eat the foods that are healthy and give fuel for our bodies.
So basically, according to this approach, these aspects that we talked about, career, spirituality, physical activity, relationships, supersede the food we eat. They are the ones that will inform the decisions you make on what to eat. Wow, interesting. So anything else you...
So maybe just to end, what I would like to say is that for integrative nutrition, we look at health and wellness as a process, not a destination. We always have the career goals, we have the health goals, and many times we focus on that end rather than focus on the journey. But the journey is one that is important, and we should always enjoy the journey. And we always say that it's about progress, not perfection. I may, for example, be targeting to lose 10 kilos, 5 kilos, and I may not get there. But even in that process, I learn more about myself. I learn how to control my emotions. I learn how to eat more healthy. Even if I don't get to that goal, I have achieved something. So celebrate
During
these
the
small
process.
wins. Yeah, celebrate these small wins, and you'll find that you'll actually reach your destination.
Oh, nice. So, viewers, that was informative, Pauline. As I said, it is a new concept that I did not have much information about it, but thank you so much for expounding on it. At least we now get to understand that we are not only depending on food for our health, there are other aspects that you have to factor in, and for you to just check that you are applying all this, you can have a diary of where you can be writing this down, and then every day you take a note of what you have achieved and what you have not achieved, and focus on prevention. Do not focus on cure. If you do that physical activity, then some lifestyle diseases will be far from you. Yeah.
Yes, very true.
Yeah. So if you have the spiritual aspect in your life, then you see you will always know your purpose. What am I supposed to do under the sun? Yeah. And then if you have a good career choice, then of course you'll be a happy person. You will not be stressed like, this boss of mine is doing this and this. You know what you you know what you want in life. So my esteemed viewers, I'm very grateful, and I hope that you have gotten one or two things from what we have discussed today. And as I said, I reiterate again, a healthy nation is a productive nation, and a productive nation translates to development. So kindly, as we finish this, do not forget to subscribe, to like, to watch, to share. Go look for Development Insights with Elika for more of this. Until next time, see you. Bye bye.